In this video, let's talk about adding a customer chatbot to your website. Now, again, I've spoken about this in the growth tools training, where I actually focused on the actual the web chat widget. But this time around, let's reapproach it from a slightly different perspective. So let's dive in. Now, we're going to need to create a new growth tool, because the growth tool that we're looking for is in fact the customer chat growth tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on customer chat, and the thing you need to know about the customer chat functionality and adding it to your website is that it's sort of an overlay widget that goes on your website, and it's very simple to set up in ManyChat. You really just do what I just did, which was click the new growth tool widget, pick customer chat. You might want to give it a name, so let's call it web chat. I'm going to call it demo so I can find it, because I actually do have a web chat set up on my site already. And you'll notice again the options for configuration are quite basic, because realistically what we're really looking to do is just add the functionality to the website, just to sort of get the conversation going, and then really the rest of it comes right back to how you script your flow. So the opt-in message is going to be this one, the default here, and that's what it looks like. And if we go over to growth tool 31 in a minute and edit it, we're going to see that. If we had one already written, we could replace it, but we don't, so we're gonna go from scratch. And then if we had a subscriber sequence created, we could add them here. We don't have that, so let's not worry too much. So let's look at next. Now this is the part that I glossed over a little bit in the other one, but we'll talk a bit more about it here. If you look to the right, you'll see what the chat customer chat demo thing is going to look like on your website. But let's talk about the scripting part, because you do actually need to install some code on your website to make this thing work. And it's a JavaScript snippet. So if you click on that button, first and foremost, your website needs to be listed as an authorized website, so that the ManyChat tool knows that it's okay to actually show that widget on your site. Now you'll see I've added mine. If this was yours, you'll type your domain name in and add it. I've added the with and without the www. I suggest you do the same. Once you've authorized your site and you've added it to the OK list, click Next. Now, this is the code that ManyChat uses to display various things around your site, and you only need to install it once per website, and you can have, literally, as it says here, unlimited fun with our widgets. But the thing you need to take into account is you need to place it in the header part of every page on your website. Now, if this little word here doesn't mean too much to you, then this part will probably be helpful. Websites tend to be written in a variety of languages, one of which is HTML. If you don't know what HTML stands for, it's Hypertext Markup Language. And if you really want to get geeky, HTML is the derivative of SGML, which is Standard Graphics Markup Language, which comes from the publishing world. Long time ago, I used to work for publishing companies in Oxford, England, and we used to control how information was published using SGML. So of course, when websites came along, which was a dumbed down subset of everything we had to use in publishing, it was a bit of a no-brainer to move into that industry. Suffice to say, that's the token that exists at the top of a coded file that defines the header block of a page on your website. And that stuff underneath here in this little gray box, the blue line is just for optics. This code here. So this first line, that is a comment. So in reality, it doesn't really matter, but it's there just so you know what you're looking at. The real meat of this line is this. And you'll notice that there's a script and closing script token. These characters here, that's what brings everything to life. That needs to be installed in the header of your website. Now, if you've got WordPress, then you can install a WordPress plugin that will allow you to copy that into the header. There are loads and loads of plugins which will allow you to sort of turbocharge your WordPress site. If it's not a WordPress site, then you're going to have to add that to every page of your website where you want this customer chat to appear. Okay, Now, I use a piece of software called Rapid Weaver. I use WordPress. I use hand coding. I use a whole bunch of different things. But when push comes to shove, if that code is in the header block of the page, then your customer chat widget will show up on that page. Unless we've set it not to, which I'll show you in the next part. You see here, it says hide on these pages. Remember, there's a couple of ways to do this. This chat feature over here on the right will display on every page you installed that script snippet on. If you've put it entirely throughout the site, then it means it will show up on every single page across your site, unless you type in a page address here. So you could stop it from showing on 1 or 2 pages and show on everything else. Or you could turn it off on everything else and show it only on 1 or 2 pages. Does that make sense? So you could have it site-wide and not show it on pages 1, 2, and 3. Or you could have it turned off and show it on pages, 5, 6, and 7 or whatever. Anyway, give it some thought, play around with it. It'll make a lot of sense. This is where you can change your color to match your brand. Right now, you'll see that I'm tinkering around with the coloring. This will probably be a bit more visual. There we go. I've just made it kind of a red color. And you'll notice that it changes the little bubble down here and the thumb, the eye, and of course the text, the text messages that you send through. And if you go back up here to the right-hand corner and pick white, and white, by the way, is FFFFFF. That's hexadecimal for that particular color, or lack thereof. It'll go back to the originals. Now, elsewhere I've explained this, so I'll kind of quickly gloss over it. If you're logged in into Facebook when the person sees this customer chat, it will actually display this message here. And if you're not logged in to Facebook, it will say this message. Now, over on my website, I've got it to say something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm Jimbot. James is underpaid and underappreciated digital assistant." And this is all part of my kind of the character I've created. And if it's not logged into Facebook, it says, "Hi, I'm Jimbot. Please log in to continue." And this, of course, is where you get to set whether or not it's showing up on mobile, desktop, or mobile only, and how you want it to be first seen. Now, this is only how it influences the very first time. So you can't really test different options because it remembers after your first visit. So, you have to take it on faith, right? So the very first time you try it, it's going to behave the way you've set it here. But if you then decide to change it to the other window setting, it won't, because it's no longer the first time, right? And then finally, you can click activate and check. Now, I'm not going to do that because I've already got one set up on my website. But as with all things, in fact, you've probably seen it if you've been through the other video training earlier. Let me show you. If you go there we go. Let's get rid of all these extra pop-ups. See? Hello, I'm Jimbot. I'm James, underpaid and underappreciated digital assistant. That's it. Now, if you click on that, it's going to activate a flow. And this is where we're at really with yours. So if we come back here and we take a look, remember it was opt-in 31. So let's just save this. We're going to leave it draft. I'm not activating a second one just to compound matters. But again, with all things, we'll click on this and let's give it a decent name so we know it's a web chat demo. And there you are. You're sitting there looking at the flow builder, and if you click the button that says edit flow, you can now sort of sit there and start applying the logic. Now, of course, this perhaps isn't really the most appropriate message, but again, this particular demo really isn't going to walk you through what you could put here because the sky's the limit. I mean, I don't know your business. You might sell ping pong balls, you might be a lawn care company, and what you need to do is you need to map out your conversations and what you want to happen. I mean, generally speaking, if it's a customer chat bot on your website, you probably want it to say something along the lines of, it's already done the hello, and then it's how can I help you today, and then show them a menu of options, including things like how to get in touch with you and how to get more information and how to read your FAQ and so on and so forth. And then, of course, you just build out your your flow here, and you can throw this message away. You can create a new starting step if you want. Elsewhere in this course, I've mentioned the importance now of always attempting to get the email address and the telephone number for for texting, because remember, you've only got a 24-hour window where you can communicate with abandon via free Facebook messaging, and then after that, you can only do certain types of messaging, which is why you need to sort of wrap your head around this concept of omni-channel messaging, which is anything you do that starts a flow, you need to really quickly be getting multiple points of contact information so that you can keep things alive. And there are some sort of tactics you can do for that as you start to explore and think about your flow design. Anyway, that is how you put a web chat on your website. And again, I know I didn't show you exactly how to put it into the header code because it's unique to your website. So if you don't know how to do that, your web person will. And of course, everything comes back to a flow. And as they say, away you go. I hope this was helpful.